Cognizant to the needs of our learners, parents, and teachers, the Department of Education provided us with powerful tools for productivity that will allow us to foster critical thinking skills, problem-solving skills, communication and collaboration skills to be compassionate, responsible global citizens. Join us and discover new ideas in our series of professional development training program with the ICTS-EdTech unit and Microsoft Education Philippines. Together, we will equip our learners and empower our fellow educators for a dynamic future. Para sa bata, para sa bayan, at para sa guro. Sulong Edukalidad. Magandang araw mga kaitulay! Ako ang inyong tutor Madge. Handa na ba kayo sa kapanapanabik at kabang-abang na ETUlay Summer Camp? Tara na at umpisahan na natin!
Mga guro at magulang, ating pagtulungan, kabataan ay turuan natin. Kahit na nasa tahanan, pag-aaral ay tutukan, oras at kasanayan ay ilaan. Sulong edukalidad, magbago man ang panahon, ipagpatuloy ating layunin, patatagin ang edukasyon. ETUlay ang gabay sa pagkatuto, ETUlay edukasyon itatawid sa iyo. ETUlay paaralan di lalayo sa iyo. ETUlay sa makabagong panahon, ETUlay para sa kabataang Pilipino. Kayo ba'y may katanungan at hindi maunawaan? Kami ang gabay at tulay na magtuturo sa'yo. Sa tulong ng teknolohiya at maging ng social media, paaralan ay kusang lalapit sa'yo. Sulong edukalidad, supuin maling impormasyon, katotohanan nating ituro, paunlarin ang edukasyon. ETUlay ang gabay sa pagkatuto, ETUlay edukasyon itatawid sa iyo. ETUlay paaralan di lalayo sa iyo. ETUlay sa makabagong panahon, ETUlay para sa kabataang Pilipino. ETUlay ang gabay sa pagkatuto, ETUlay edukasyon itatawid sa iyo. ETUlay paaralan di lalayo sa iyo. ETUlay sa makabagong panahon, ETUlay para sa kabataang Pilipino. ETUlay, ETUlay sa kabataang
ETUlay Summer Camp!
ETUlay, ETUlay sa kabataang Pilipino. ETUlay, ETUlay sa kabataang Pilipino.
Hello there.
Hi, Name.
What
Hi, Name.
yes.
Yeah, happy Tuesday. It's a Tuesday today, and it's definitely time for ESL and Public Speaking Day.
Right. And I am excited to begin our class today because we will be filling up this day with excitement, with learning, and definitely wisdom because I believe Tutor Nova next week will be our last episode. Am I correct?
It is. Time goes by too fast, and we're having
Yeah.
so much fun.
Yeah, especially right when we are having so much fun now. Because I know there are a lot of people in the comment section. Let us greet them one by one. Or at least
Yeah, of course,
somehow,
sure.
one by one. Hello, Heavenly
That's right.
Heart o Tanghian. Princess Jamela Niega, Jermaine Alves, and she is watching on YouTube. Hello, Jermaine. Jersey Genesis Fernandez Handig, Hazel Nunag Villalon, Rach, Crystal Ayuba, Erin Miranda, Pearl Jasmine Estudillo, Roldan Purunganan, Hazel T. Tumala Limpot. How about you, Turnova?
Of course, we also got here Inaj And Naj Erica is on the comment section as well. She will be with us later today as well.
Yeah.
And hi also to Joshua Pashon. Hi to Arian Mendoza Sitiar. Hi to Judge's Love. D. Fontilias, very unique name. And hi
Yeah,
also to
indeed.
Melanie Casas. They are here with us in our live session for today, our second to the last session for ESL
Yeah.
public speaking.
Yes, though this will be our second to the last, I hope that we can still prepare our campers for our big event next week. I'm so excited also to have this event because this will be the accumulation of all the learnings that they had since July. Actually, we're now on our 1 month, I think. It's almost
It
a
is.
month since we started our ETUlay Summer Camp. And I'm so thankful to all our campers who stayed with us since day one and still tuning in with us in our second to the last episode. If you could notice, we are wearing blue, right, Nova? And may
Yeah,
I
we
ask
are
our
indeed
camp,
wearing it.
yeah. And may I ask our audience, our campers, what is the color of their shirt today? And like what I said, we are wearing color blue because we are celebrating, commemorating a special event. And what is that special event, Nova?
The special event that we have today is Manuel El Cousin Day. Is it right, Tutor May?
Right. Or because August is the buwan ng wikang pambansa. And you're right, Tutor. If not for President Manuel Alquezon, we would not have a unified dialect. Because the Philippines is not just an archipelagic country and with a country with beautiful sceneries. It also has beautiful languages like the Cebuano, like the Masbateño, Bisaya, Ilonggo, all of these languages are actually evidence of how beautiful our country is. And our language is especially developed or especially he pursued to unify the different languages here in our country. It's because of the effort of President Manuel Luis Quezon, or what we call him, Ama ng Wikang Pambansa, or Father of the National Language, because blue is the color of language arts. That's it. Now
Oh, cool.
let us give some facts about President Manuel Luis Quezon. He is a brilliant lawyer. He actually topped the not top, but he is one of the he placed fourth, yeah, in the bar exam. He is also a good speaker, given that he is a good lawyer and he learned English in a short amount of time.
Well,
But
so
his
he is a
mhm,
genius.
yeah, he is a genius. He is fluent in Filipino and Spanish, and he was quite unwilling to learn English, speaking about his love for our languages. But because he became the Commonwealth president, he had to learn English, but he learned it in a very short span of time. Like what you said, Churanova, it is an evidence of his brilliance and genius.
Yeah.
Imagine just learning English in a short amount of time.
Wow,
Effort.
impressive. Well, Tutor May, I also want to ask you because you are very
Mhm,
eloquent when it comes to speaking in English, but I
mhm.
also want to ask, what's the certain language that you really wanted to be fluent with?
Well, because Filipino is we have so many words and terminologies in Filipino that are similar in Spanish. I want to be fluent in Spanish. Maybe because of our language characteristic, it will not be so hard for me to learn Spanish. But I guess the grammar or the grammar in Spanish is a bit complicated. So yeah, if I would have a free lesson because I believe language lessons in Spanish, they are quite
True.
expensive. So if I would have the opportunity to really pursue that, I would really learn and I would love to learn Spanish. How about you, Tutor Nova?
Well, Tutor May, that would be Japanese because I really love the tradition and culture of Japan, and I really want to go there. So
Wow.
hopefully, I could, be fluent in speaking in Japanese. Because 4 years ago, I tried going to Japanese school, so I hope I can still remember a few things. And yeah, that's Japanese. That's the language I really want to be fluent in.
Yeah, and from our section, we got here Miss Josephine J. Bueno, and she said Quezon City Day is on August 19, not today, right? Uh, right. Actually, it's on, based on my search, it's on August 17, 2021. So timely because it's the
Ooh.
Quezon City Day.
Today. Wow,
Yeah,
cool.
right. Wow. Okay, let us see. Now, aside from Oh wow! And his birthday is on August 19. But I guess we are celebrating Quezon City Day on August 17 today. But the birthday of our beloved former president Manuel Luis Quezon is on August 19. Correct us if we are wrong because this is on Google right now. I'm searching it right now, and we appreciate if you will be adding information for our session for today. Now, because we're talking about a president today, we also have a special guest, which is also a president of her club and a student that we might not know be a president of things that she will be in endeavor with in the future. Campers, ladies and gentlemen, we are proud to present our camp stalwart for today. She is Inaj Erika Galang. Hi, Inaj.
Hi, Noj. Can you hear us? Okay, she's here.
There. Hey, Nudge.
Hi,
Ready
Noj.
to
Happy
present your
Tuesday.
speech?
Yes.
Okay, you may
All right.
begin.
Hi everyone, I'm NH Erika Galang, your fifth camp stalwart. For today, I will be giving a recap of what we learned last week. Our word of the week was transmit. It means to transfer, pass, or spread from one person or place. We also have our grammar focus, which was the past progressive tense. We use the past progressive tense to indicate a continuing action or state of being that happened at some point in the past. For this tense, we use the pattern subject plus the helping verbs was or were plus the ing form of the verb. For example, she was eating when her mother arrived, or they were eating when their mother arrived. The same goes for negative statement. We simply add the word not after the helping verb was or were. For example, she was not eating or they were not eating when their mother arrived. For the last week's topic entitled The Passage to the Message, how verbal and nonverbal communications affect the clarity and understanding of a message. We were taught the importance of verbal and nonverbal communications. Verbal communication refers to the use of words to convey a message, while nonverbal communication is the transfer of information using body language. This includes eye contact, facial expressions, and gestures. Tutor Irene, the last week's special guest, emphasized that even though we can deliver or communicate effectively, our actions, gestures, and facial expressions affect the transmission of our message. To ensure effective communication, we should mind the use of verbal and nonverbal communication. Tutor Irene also stated that whenever we communicate, our end goal is for our listeners or audience to understand our message with clarity. We can do this by making sure that words do not contradict the tone of our voice and our facial expressions. For example, when I say, I'm glad to be your camp stalwart, my tone and facial expression must match the meaning of my words. Tutor Irene also gave us pointers to achieve effective communication using verbal and nonverbal communications. First, we should use suitable language that is appropriate to the context of the situation we are in. Second, we should use simple and precise words. Third, we must use the proper tone of voice. Fourth, we must choose our words carefully. Fifth, we should create eye contact with the audience. And lastly, we must use appropriate gestures, facial expressions, and movements. Appearance is also an important thing to consider according to Tutor Irene. When speaking, we must make our nonverbal cues match with the words that we are saying. This increases trust, clarity, and rapport. Confusion, misunderstanding, and miscommunication happen when spoken words are contradicted by nonverbal cues. Tutor Irene ended her discussion by saying that communication has a better chance of success when verbal messages and nonverbal cues work in harmony. That's all for week 5. Again, this is NH Erika Galang, your fifth camp stalwart. Thank you for listening.
Well done, Erica. She's indeed such an eloquent when it comes to giving her speech.
Yes, nice. And
She's
I
so
like it.
eloquent.
Yeah, I like it. And it's comprehensive. It's well done in Notch. But for your future speeches, maybe you can place your script in a place that can establish eye to eye contact to your audience, because it's
Indeed.
also important. It's also important. But it's a speech well done. How about you, Turnova? What can you say about the speech or
Well,
part of a Notch?
yeah, well, listening to her speech, I also have to say that she has a very charming face. And at the same time, I also need to say that she did not miss any parts of the discussion that
Yeah.
we had last week. I was just so impressed. And there was just a certain time when Inaj, I think she created like a very cute mistake. And
Yeah.
she had this cute reaction as well. She said, "Hi." So it just, it happens. But maybe in her future speeches too, she can also try to, modify that.
Or think about expressions so that those
True.
mistakes will not be very obvious. You can say rather, you can say or. So these are terms or expressions, words that you can use so that so it will not be obvious to your speakers, to your
Yeah.
listeners. Definitely, the mistakes will never be that obvious to your listeners if
Mhm.
you speaker is skilled in concealing your mistakes, right? Nova?
Indeed. Yeah, she
Think
she wasn't able to do that earlier, but hopefully she can in the future.
Yes, and I believe that she will be a good speaker in the future. Thank you so much, Anoj, for being the camp stalwart for the week. Thank you so much.
Thank
Thank you,
you.
Inaj. We
All
hope to see you
right.
soon.
Yes.
All
And
right.
on the comment section to Tutor Nova, there are a lot of our campers cheering and rooting for Anoj. And that is how they trust, that is how they acknowledge the competence and eloquence of Enoch as our camp stalwart. Also watching with us is Sir Rainier Garcia de Jesus, my friend of mine, and
The
he is
best
from
part,
Manuel.
yeah.
Yes, Manuel Luis Quezon High School. Talking about Manuel Luis
what
Quezon, and
a
he is, yeah,
coincidence.
he is from a school named after our beloved former president. And on our comment section, also, Pearl Jasmine Isidillo shared that she is self-studying French. Wow, what a choice!
Bonjour.
Yeah, merci. Very hard language to study because the pronunciation and the spelling, they are so different from
Quite
each other,
different.
right? Yeah, it's so
Yeah.
different. There are words in English adopted from French, but those words are still hard to pronounce. What if you will be studying the entire French language? That's so amazing. Thank you for sharing, Pearl Jasmine is to Delia. All right, student Nova, I think we can proceed to the other parts of our program, like
Sure.
our word of the week and our grammar focus. Go on.
All right. So for today, my dear campers, we will not miss giving you our word of the week. Our word of the week for today, if you have, listened to our talks earlier, you might have spotted this word earlier today. And that word is eloquence. So when we say eloquence, this refers to the powerful, moving, magnificent use of language. Simply put, if you have eloquence, then you're one smooth talker, like Inaj earlier, and like Tutor May, of course. And if you wanted to use it in a sentence, you can say it this way: her eloquence made her stood out in the crowd. So that's how you will use the word eloquence in a sentence. So again, if you can spot a person who's such a smooth talker, you can describe her as someone who is very eloquent. Again, our word of the week is eloquence. You can repeat that after me. Eloquence. Eloquence. All right, that's it. Now let's proceed to our grammar focus for today. Our grammar focus for today is the simple future. The simple future is a verb tense that's used to talk about things, or that's used to talk about things that have not happened yet but will happen in the future. So example sentence that we have here is: this year Jen will live on her own. It will be hard, but she is determined to do it. So as you can see, the bold words here is will plus live. and will plus be. So that's will live. So that's how you will use the future, simple future tense in a sentence. Always remember, if something has not happened yet, that will be happening in the future, or that will still happen in the future, that is the simple future tense. So use the simple future tense to talk about an action or condition that will begin and end in the future. Once again, our word of the week for today is eloquence, and our grammar focus for today is the simple future tense. That's it. Hope you could also try to make use of the word eloquence and with the simple future tense right on the comment section today. We would love to see that.
Yes. And again, we would like to, to suggest and ask our campers and audience to use the word eloquence in their own sentence. I know that you can do. You will write, you will make, you can create your own sentence using the word eloquence. Thank you for that, Shooter Nova. And our guest speaker for today actually will be showing eloquence on how to do
Can't wait.
impromptu and
Yeah.
extemporaneous speeches like what you're feeling right now. I cannot wait for her to present
I'm
our
pumped
topic
up.
for today because, she's a really good speaker. I would attest to that. Aside from that, Turanova, I also saw the eloquence of our campers to their submitted video assignment last week. I would like to highlight those who passed their videos and used, not used, and invited their parents, their siblings to
Yeah,
make
they
their
have a
video
lot of special
assignment.
guests on their videos.
Yeah, and we appreciate that you use the verbal and non-verbal communications in your videos. So we have here from Pearl, her eloquence will be useful when she becomes a teacher. Thank you so much. And she also used the simple present tense of the verb. How about the others? We're so excited to read your sample sentence with the word eloquence, or you can also use the word eloquence and the simple future tense in your sentence. You can do both or you can do just one. We will appreciate that. Right, Renova?
Indeed, we will be waiting for that.
Yes. And we have the here from, my gosh, his name is really a challenge
The
for me.
chest love.
But Cheslav D. Fontillas. I don't know, but it's really a challenge for me. I
I
cannot really
wonder what's the
pronounce it.
origin of his name, because I'm
Yeah,
also
but
very curious about why his name is Jacheslov. I think it's a silent V, perhaps.
yeah, it
Jacheslov.
mhm.
It might be
And it
French.
sounds and it sounds prominent, right? It's
Yeah, it
it's
is.
it's a name that we don't encounter every day, but it by by playing with the sound, it sounds prominent. Okay,
It
so
is.
his example is his eloquence had a great hold upon the masses. And I would like to remind everyone in the comment section, please keep the comment section. This is a camp rule, right, Renova, to please keep the comment section respectful. Please do not put words that are not necessary in our session for today. Definitely, we want to have this session as a learning session. And if there are words that are not important, please keep it to yourself. All right. Okay, Nova. So I'd like to present my presentation. Our
Okay.
mhm, our topic for today is about mastering the art of impromptu and extemporaneous speech. Okay, so from Inoj Erica Galang, she said she is a speaker of great eloquence. And I can attest that our guest speaker of today is of great eloquence. All right, so I will be now sharing my screen to you. Like what I said, our topic would be about mastering the art of, oh my gosh, my screen is frozen. Okay, there you are.
It
Mastering
happens.
the art
Okay.
of impromptu and extemporaneous speaking. Roger Nova, especially when you have a live session, that will really happen. So for this
Like
session,
this, impromptu.
yeah, I'd like to define big words in our topic for today. You can hear, I guess, the music. Okay, so when we say speech, it's a type of communication done by the speaker at a certain event and for a specific purpose. I'd like to highlight these phrases at a certain event. We don't give speeches every day, right? And just for no reason. Example, if you were walking on, in the street and you'd like to give a speech, that's unnecessary. Okay, so people will tag you as crazy. So there should be a certain event in which you will be giving a speech and for a specific purpose. There are so many purposes that we can make a speech with, or deliver a speech with. You can deliver a speech to inform, to entertain, to persuade, and to describe something or someone, right? Okay, so we have two kinds of speeches. We have the extemporaneous speech, a speech that is planned and prepared. So you can make an outline before giving the speech, but when you have to deliver the speech, your script should not be read. So better than not, you really not have to memorize, but at least know the gist, because if you will be memorizing a speech, it sounds so it sounds so scripted that you're so controlled, right? Right, Nova? If you are memorizing a speech,
True.
yeah, if you will memorize a speech, there are certain characteristics that, you know, your eloquence and your at the moment expressions will not be there, and that is those are
And it
important.
will not also sound so natural, tutor May. And at the
Yeah.
same time, extemporary speech shouldn't
Hmm.
be memorized, because you should only outline your ideas before your actual speech. But when you present your speech, you shouldn't be reading something. You should only try to outline it in your idea only, but not really writing it somewhere, or maybe not really looking at the paper that you've currently outlined your ideas.
Right.
So it's basically just you.
Right. And when you're memorizing a speech, definitely on the day of the speech itself, your audience would also matter. The event would also matter. So if you would just memorize your script, these things, the kind of audience that you will have, and the atmosphere of the event, they're so important to make your speech more connected to your audience. But if you memorize your script, it it will not be felt by the audience. Aside from the extemporaneous speech, we also have the impromptu speech. And this is a speech that is delivered without any preparation. And why did I put this after your extemporaneous speech? Because this is harder, right? Right, Nova? This is harder to do because you have
Yeah,
to think
this
on your
is
feet.
true, true. And
Mhm.
this is also one of the speeches that will really give you a hard time. And when you deliver your speeches, that's the most challenging part, because you will not be given the time to really outline your ideas, because the moment
Right.
that you heard what the topic is all about, you really have to get your feet into it. So no time to really outline. You just have to say what is currently in your mind.
Yes. I believe that both of the speeches test a speaker's eloquence, but impromptu speech tests the eloquence of a speaker better, because he really has to think on his feet. He really has to be a wide reader, so that he can say a lot about a certain topic. If he doesn't know what a topic is all about, definitely that person cannot have an impromptu speech.
Yeah.
Would you agree, Nova?
I totally agree. I think it happens to most pageants, tutor May. I think there are a lot of scenarios that happen this to the beauty queens, wherein they do not know about the topic that they were asked about. And what they did was like just say thank you and just left. It happens. It's impromptu, and they can't really prepare for it. And you can't really say a thing if you're not familiar with the topic you were asked about. So that's a challenge. It's quite a challenge to do.
Right, because you have to really think at the moment, and sometimes our nervousness and the term unpreparedness will really go in the way of giving an impromptu speech. Now, for us to know how to deliver, how to master these speeches, I would like to present our guest speaker for today. She is President Ayu is a 9-time Amazon best-selling author and book coach. She authored and co-authored several poetry and motivational books. Her recent poetry book entitled Chiaroscuro is translated into Italian, French, and Spanish, talking about language arts. She took Bachelor of Arts major in communication at the De La Salle University. She also finished an entrepreneur course at the Academy for Creating Enterprise and is currently taking her social media marketing studies at Brigham Young University, Idaho Pathway Program. Miss Ayo has successfully published over 300 authors worldwide through her
Oh, wow.
GMGA publishing platform. Ladies and gentlemen, our dear campers, a distinguished writer and the president of Pinoy Writers Toastmasters Club. Give it away. Let's have a virtual applause for Miss Ayo Gutierrez. President,
Thank you so much, TMA. I'm sorry, Tutor May and Tutor Nova. Thank you so much
Hi,
for
Miss
this
Ayo.
opportunity to be here. I was actually laughing when Teacher Nova was recalling the beauty pageant question and answer portion. You know, they just didn't know what to say and they left.
Yeah,
I
because
was really laughing at that.
yeah,
yeah, because it
I
happened
guess
that her internet connection
Minutes
is not really good.
that were given to
Oh,
me, I
okay.
would be able to tap secrets, some of the best practices. And okay, I'm here. I'm back.
yes, ma'am.
Okay, did you
Yeah,
hear
Miss
what
Ayo is
yes,
here.
what I said a while ago? Okay, yeah. Before I move on to my presentation, just would like to comment our speaker. How do you call her? Inaj.
Yes,
Inaj, I
ma'am.
have
Yeah.
two words for you: competent and confident. And these
Mhm.
two factors are very important when you are a speaker. People ask which comes first. Is it competence or confidence? But I tell you, they go together. At some point you have to show a level of confidence, but then again, if there's no substance, you cannot be really confident at that. Okay, so if I am ready,
Mm,
are you ready? Let's go ahead and
we
show
are.
our presentation today. Thank you.
All right. I am now projecting your PowerPoint presentation, Miss Ayo, for a while, please. I think it's my laptop that is not working or not cooperating right now.
It's okay. And to my fellow campers, because I consider myself a student for life, to my fellow students here, if you have some questions while I am talking or delivering my presentation, please go ahead. Feel free to comment, and later on we will tackle those questions. Okay, a few weeks ago, I was asked to also deliver a similar presentation, and I entitled it Speak Out, Stand Out. And that's because in this time and day, people have fewer attention spans. Did you know that? And so now we're going to talk about mastering the art of impromptu and extemporaneous speaking. And thank you for the introduction. You were able to define the differences between the two kinds of speeches. Let me go ahead and show you an object. Can we go to the next slide? When Tudor May told me was a crown. And this is not to some beauty queens. And you know what? I am coaching a candidate for Mrs. Universe Philippines, and she is entering the pageant this September. And she's telling me that she's really nervous. And so, one of the things, actually, the number one fear of many people today is what you call glossophobia. Can you say it with me? Glossophobia. What is it? Glossophobia is an extreme fear of public speaking. And you know what's so surprising? The top five fears of people are the following. Number one is glossophobia or fear of public speaking, and people are afraid of dying. Death is only the second top fear of people. Third is spiders, fourth is darkness, and fifth is heights. So you can just imagine people dying before an audience, people dying in the stage wishing they would just disappear or they would just die. So this fear is legit. And if people are afraid of public speaking, you know how it feels. We have this very familiar term: there are butterflies in my stomach. Okay? So today, my goal is to help you orchestrate those butterflies so that they will move in harmony, in sync with what you want to tell people. If that's a good deal, let's go ahead and tell you how we can overcome our fear of public speaking and master the art of impromptu and extemporaneous speeches. Okay, let's move to the next slide. There is no magic, there is no secret formula, but preparation is the key to success. And when the time for preparation has passed, the time for performance has come. Meaning to say, when you are asked to speak on the spur of the moment, you don't really have much time to think about and gather your thoughts. So what can you do now? Because even if you are not aware of this, we actually give impromptu answers to so many things in our day-to-day routine. But remember, it's not just about the daily activities. As students, you will be asked to present a lot of yourself in many circumstances. When you have to deliver a short talk for a friend's funeral, or probably give a toast during your brother's wedding, how about this critical moments where you have to pitch yourself during the days you're negotiate for your salary? These are some critical moments when you really have to practice and prepare. So with this one, let's go and see how we can prepare. Next slide. Okay, it's just a recall. Impromptu versus extemporaneous. Again, impromptu speaking is just delivering a message on the spur of the moment. No preparation at all. You're not even given a minute or two. Just have to collect, gather your thoughts immediately, and spit it out. Extemporaneous actually gives you more time to really prepare, to research on your topic, but then you just have to outline. This is not a prepared speech that you have to say the words verbatim. Okay? And most of the time, this is what we are using. Right now, I'm giving you an extemporaneous speech because I don't have any notes here, but I have my outline through this presentation slides. Okay? If that's clear to all of us, let's move on. Always remember that when you are crafting a speech, there should be the three elements or the three main parts of it. Number one is opening. Number two is body, and number three is closing. Each of these main parts has to be treated fairly. You have to give an arresting opening. How do you invoke the attention? How do you get people to listen to you? Because you only have a few seconds to make a good impression. After delivering a really great opening line, how do you keep them involved and interested? How do you engage them? So that now you have to think of the body of the speech. Make sure that it is substantial. Make sure that it is something that people can relate to. And lastly, after giving your meat of the speech, we go to the closing. Make sure that you don't leave people hanging. Sometimes you just have to encourage parts. Should be present in any of the speeches that you will prepare, whether for impromptu, extemporaneous, prepared speeches. These elements are ready and present. Okay? Next. You would be surprised that eloquence is not the main thing. Eloquence is nothing if the speaker fails to deliver his message effectively. Okay? So here you will see the distribution of the elements of personal communication. And only 7% accounts for the spoken words, like what you are getting from me right now. I'm speaking a lot of words in a minute. That's only 7% of the total impact of your message. 38% accounts for your voice, for your tone. And high-pitched people are really irritating to hear. Okay? Sonorous kind of speaking, deep, right? Deep voice is more preferable than high-pitched voices. And then 55% accounts for the body language. So even if we are doing this virtual training, you can sense if there is a tense of the voice in a speaker. You can say if the speaker is really not smiling, even if she's throwing a joke or a humor. You can tell even the way a speaker looks at the camera. You will see that if there is an eye contact, So now you will realize that it's not just about the eloquence of words. It's about filling in and making sure that you also ace this 38% of voice and 55% of body language. Things or words not heard, but are readily shown or palpable in your body movements. Okay, is that something new to you? Let's move on. You will hear a lot of eloquent speakers, but at the end of their speech, it does nothing to you. If there is no substance, the speech will perish, even if you give an arresting opening, even if you look pretty, you are well dressed. But hey, let's come to the middle of it. Let's go to the meat of the speech. There's no substance. It's not properly researched. It's not backed up by examples. She's just stating opinions. So you see, if there's no substance, no matter how good your tricks or no matter how good you are in doing the aesthetics of your speeches, but coming to the main body of it, you have to know, you have to keep your audience engaged. I hope you're learning today, and I hope that you will be able to apply all of these things. Now, let's move on. A few more slides, and then we will open the floor to your questions. Now, pay attention because this is how beauty queens, this is how politicians, this is how speech contenders think. Okay? And I'm going to tell you 4 of these speech patterns that you can immediately apply whenever you are asked to give impromptu speeches. Number 1 is SMG, not MSG Vetchin, but SMG, story, message, and gain. First, you tell a story, and personal story is the most important here. Then you give what is the message of this story, and then gain what do you hope for in your audience to do after listening to your story. You do this, you have a very powerful speech. Second pattern, PPF. It's past, present, and future. Especially if the question is all about things happening in history. You can tell about what happened in the past and how it's being applicable in the present, and how do you project or predict what's going to happen in the future. Again, a powerful speech pattern. Number 3, prep, PREP, position, reason. Example, position. This is what most beauty queens, beauty pageants do when they answer the Q&A portion. Do you believe that women today should be holding high offices in the society, and why? Okay, that might be the question. So how do you answer that? Position. If I were to answer that, thank you for the question. That's how they usually answer it, right? I believe that women today should be holding high positions in the society, just like men do since time immemorial. Because I know that women are equally capable, we are equally talented, and we are equally given the same opportunity to learn like everybody else. For example, I remember when I was in college and people were telling me, why should you pursue college? You know, you can just take a moment to just relax. But I told them, I went to the society and my company lasting for almost 8 years today. Therefore, I believe that women should be given the opportunity to also hold offices wherever they need be. Back, right? That's how you answer a typical question thrown to you during a Q&A. Very brief, and brevity is actually one of the components of a very powerful speech. Lastly, AIDA, AIDA, attention, interest, desire, and action. You will see animated people here suddenly shouting, Dharma! Did you hear me say Dharna or Dharma? Ladies and gentlemen, I said Dharma. And Dharma is a Sanskrit word which means that you have found your passion or your mission in this life. You see, that's attention, that's interest. And then you will tell them, why would I want to tell you about Dharma? It's because in this life, we have to find our meaning so that we will not live without a legacy. I encourage all of you, and I'm now in it into action. You have to find your passion. According to Oprah Winfrey, find your passion, it will lead you to your purpose. Thank you. Okay, so there you have the powerful speech patterns. Take a screenshot of this one or copy it, and I tell you, the next time you participate in an impromptu speaking contest, you're gonna ace it. Okay, let's move fast. Next, just a few more slides. Nelson Mandela said, if you talk to a man in a language he understands, that goes to his head. If you talk to him in his language, that goes to his heart. Next, which means to say, people will forget what you say, but they will never forget how you make them feel. People are not creatures of logic. We are creatures of emotion. If you really want to listen, you have to appeal to the heart, not just to the head. Okay? And lastly, our next slide. Doesn't make perfect. In code by meaning to say what you do regularly can actually help you. I think there's one more slide that show that tutor may so that they will have idea how to practice. Okay, this is the last. Impromptu jar, cut strips of questions, put them in a jar just like what I'm holding today, and every day for 2 minutes, practice in front of the mirror. Pick a question and answer that question. You can also play icebreaker game cards so that, during picnic or gathering in your family or everywhere, you can just throw questions at each other. And lastly, I'd like to invite you to join a Toastmasters Club. I am the president of Pinoy Writers Toastmasters Club. We do this all the time. We have table topics, impromptu speaking. We also have prepared speeches. And what's best, we have evaluation portions. So we tell the speakers the great points and the things that they can improve upon. Okay? So some of the ways that you can do, because last slide. This is the most important like to leave to you. It says here, in life, finding a voice is speaking and living the truth. Each of you is an original. Each of you has a distinctive voice. When you find it, your story will be told, and you will be held. You will be heard.
Hello, everybody. Oh, wow, Tutor Nova.
Yeah, I
Uh,
think Miss Ayo is back now. Miss Ayo, can you hear us?
Yes.
All
Did
right.
is
you
it
I
the
lose
think there
me?
was
last?
just a sudden interruption. Yeah, I think
Yeah.
there was just a sudden interruption of internet connection.
But you delivered your part really well, President Ayo, and you never failed us. Uh, Tutor Nova actually said that she was starstruck. Well,
Yeah,
I am
I
too every time
was.
I hear you speak. Well, every time, yeah,
Thank
every
you for
time I hear you
listening.
Okay, so we are now opening the floor to questions to Miss Aya Campers, viewers from all around the Philippines. If you have more questions about the presentation of Miss Aya Gutierrez, we are now opening the floor so that those questions can be clarified. According to Pearl Just Istadillo, I think this is not a question, but a message to you, President Ayo. Thank you, Miss Ayo Gutierrez, for your tips and tricks. Though I have a question, when giving a speech at school, even when I was prepared, I tend to make mistakes like mispronouncing words and stuttering. How will I avoid those mistakes? Very nice question from Pearl. How can she avoid mispronunciation and stuttering when making a speech? I think. Hello, Ma'am Ayo. All right. I think she is experiencing some buffering.
I think that
We
her
can,
mic is muted, Miss May.
President Ayo, your mic
Can
is
you hear
muted.
me?
Yeah,
Yeah.
we can now.
Okay. All right. Is there a question?
Yes, ma'am. And it's how can a person deals with mispronunciation and stuttering when delivering a speech?
My daughter Biana, she is 4 years old. She really stammers a lot. One of the things that I help her with is really breathing exercises. And this is so true. Before you speak, make sure that you have deep breaths. That's the reason why I also do yoga, because everybody feels that way. Even if you are a seasoned speaker, you still have this nervousness. It doesn't go away. I don't know why, but it does. So what you can do really is to take deep breaths. You do that for a few minutes, and then remember, before you speak, organize first. Do not
Mhm.
open your mouth until you have something that already in your head. An
Uh-huh.
outline of what the things that we want to say. Otherwise, if you're going to speak adamantly without even thinking, you're going to blabber all in your speech. I hope that
Okay.
helps.
Yes, President Ayo, but there are some parts of your answer that we weren't able to catch up because of the internet connection. But I think we got the key points. Example, having deep breaths and first organization. Don't speak right
Hello.
away. Allow yourself a buffer time of 30 seconds. I think from the previous episode, organize first in your head and have a buffer time so you can have more organization and structure when you begin your speech. Yes, so thank you so much for that, President Ayo. I think there's no other question, but I think Trinova has a message for you.
Yeah, Miss Ayo, we would like to say thank you so much from the bottom of our hearts. We know that you have been very busy these days, especially that you are coaching a Miss Universe candidate for September 2021 contest. And hearing your speech for today or hearing your presentation today, I am really in awe. And at the same time, I am really looking forward to be listening to more of your presentations because although I am a teacher now, but there are still a lot of things that I did not know yet and I really want to know more about. And I am just looking forward to also be listening to the speeches that maybe you had and you will be having in the future because the way you wrapped up your presentation, it was really really great, and at the same time I'm just so impressed. I'm just starstruck right now. So I thank you so much for being here.
Thank you so much, President Ayo. We'll see you soon. Thank you so much. That's That's it. Thank you
All
so
right.
much again, campers, for listening to Ma'am Ayo. And I know that you got a lot of tips and tricks so that you can master your speech in the future. Though we are suffering internet connection problems, it's because Miss Ayo is not based in Manila. She is based from Cebu, just like you,
Oh, I'm
Chiranova.
from Cebu
Yes,
too. Okay.
yes,
Luckily, my connection is pretty okay.
yeah, and during live events, we cannot really help to have some problems with our internet connection. But I guess our campers and we too have actually got the key points from her speech. What are the things that you learned from her speech, from her part, Chiranova?
I think, the presentation overall, I learned a lot of really great things, but it was just an add on for me regarding the different speech patterns that she presented. I think that was really new to me, and I hope I could also try to use that in the future. And especially also handling subjects in senior high school that has to do with
Hmm.
public speaking. And, a lot of questions from the student is that how can they get their thoughts organized? And I think that the speech patterns that Miss Ayo presented is such a great help for them to
Yeah.
really outline their ideas and be confident now with how will they be delivering their speeches using those patterns.
Yes, because we have this perception that when we're speaking, it's about content. Well, content is not the king. It's actually organization and structure. If you have ideas in mind, it will not be really clear or it will not be really well presented if you will
True.
not have structure and organization. Now, um, I believe that we have so many things that we taught to you, campers, but we like to emphasize on the structure and organization. And based on the speech of Ma'am Ayo, you can see how well she used verbal and nonverbal communication. I like in her speech that she emphasized the and tone and body language. Those are the things that really affect when one is speaking. And because of that, I believe, Nova, that we have to wrap up this session by telling that we have a speaking event next week. And for our campers, this is a test of how you are also using your verbal and non-verbal communications. After everything that we have taught to you, how eloquence, how structure, organization, how we must craft our content, definitely we have to apply it in our speaking event next week. I believe our presentation will be showed later on. Okay, so I just like to announce that we have that kind of event next week, and we don't have an assignment so that we can prepare, so that our campers can prepare for the event next week. All right, so but you have to answer the exit exam and the attendance. You can scan the code on the screen or use the link that you are seeing now in the PowerPoint presentation. Okay, that's it.
All right, so I think Tutor May, we would like to thank everyone for being here all throughout the presentation or throughout the class that we have today, because we are definitely over time, and it happens, things like this happen because we also wanted to really give them a meat of discussion, because I think it's very helpful that a person could really know about the art of public speaking through extemporaneous speeches and through impromptu speeches as well. And I myself have learned a lot today too.
Yes, and once again, we will be having a speaking event next week, and our participants will have exciting prizes for this, not just certificates. So we are encouraging our campers to join in. It's not just for students. We also want to have professionals here so that we can have an event that will really apply or will really use the verbal and nonverbal communications of our campers. You may express your intent in participating in this event by answering the attendance and exit exam. That's it, Tutor Nova. This has been Tutor May.
And Tutor Nova, of course. And thank you so much for being here, our dear campers. See you next
We'll
week.
see you. Bye.
Magandang araw! April Marcas po, ang inyong pretty ate sa EdTech Unit. Alam ba ninyo na may webinar o online training session ng EdTech Unit tuwing Sabado? Ang araw na ito ay nakalaan para sa ating mga mahal na kaguruan upang turuan sila ng mga bagong kaalaman at kakayahan sa paggamit ng makabagong software at applications para sa pinaka-epektibong paraan at lubos mapaghusay ang kanilang paraan ng pagtuturo. This is also a refresher session for our beloved teachers to enhance their skills in technology. Every Saturday, we will conduct webinar sessions for teachers about the use, advantages, and relevance of different blended learning software applications. Ang webinar seryeng ito ay magsisimula ng alas 9 ng umaga hanggang alas 12 ng tanghali para sa morning session. Magsisimula naman ng alauna at magtatapos ng alas 4 ng hapon ang afternoon session. You can watch us in our DepEd-EdTech Unit Facebook page, Educational Technology Unit YouTube channel, DepEd Tayo and DepEd Philippines. Kita-kits tayo tuwing Sabado!